I care for my people.
Modeling, oral narratives, spoken words.
Hey, stop walking while I'm talking. Nataka kuji-express, at least nitoe stress. Even if I can smile, it's only for a while. Yesu anakudai, that's why he accepted to die on the cross, to remove your dilemma and to give you a new direction.
Catch us on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only at Capuchin TV.
You can also get the repeat shows every Wednesday from 7 p.m. again only on Capuchin TV. And remember,
if you would love us to come and cover your event, you can contact us on 0717 424 866. Form New Faith with your favorite host, Maureen Kimani.
And I, Maggie Maina.
Come all to enjoy in Christ. Hello dear viewer, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us yet again on another episode of Family Faith with me, Maureen Kimani, and my co-host Maggie Maina, right here on Capuchin TV, where we bring you conversation from debate, Bible trivias, fun moment, including the talents and so much more. Welcome to our today's conversation. And that is debate. As you can see down on your screen, we have a discussion on the role of the church in politics. And our motion is whether religious institutions should actively engage in shaping public policy or remain separate to prioritize spiritual matters. And we would love to hear your thoughts. Do you feel that the church should actively or not actively participate in political matters? And you can share your thoughts with us on 0717 424 866, or you can use our SMS number, that is 21760. And allow me to introduce my co-host Maggie Maina, and of course our panelist with us here today. Karibu sana Maggie. Hello, how are you?
Hello Maureen, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very okay.
Yeah, I'm very interested about today's topic, which is rather a debate on the role of the church in matters politics in our country. And of course today we'll be asking various very, very tangible questions, such as why should the church engage in politics, or why should the church not engage in politics? Sure. What role does the church play in advocating for social justice, and so forth? And maybe at this juncture, I would love to introduce our panelists, because clearly it's not their first time here. Yeah, so maybe we'll start with the man on my farthest left.
Bernstein.
Okay. Good afternoon to you. My name is Shitsugane Bernstein. I'm a student at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, taking journalism. And I'm also a scout from the Kenya Scouts Association under the project Scout Sailing Invisible Wounds, where I serve as the finance admin. Yeah, I'm happy to be around, and we'll engage in the debate as much as I can.
Okay, thank you for making time. Yes, moving on.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewer. My name is Philip Radoli. It is not my first time to be here. I'm happy to be back again. I am a final year student at Kenyatta University, pursuing a degree in economics and statistics. We are here today, and I'm very happy in our usual business of faith-seeking understanding. I'm looking forward for a very engaging and interactive conversation.
Awesome, thank you very much. And actually, during the motion, we normally have like two teams, that is the opposer and proposer.
Yes.
You didn't mention which team are you in. Bernstein, beginning with you.
Okay. I'll be opposing the motion. I'll be showing how the church shouldn't at least take part in politics, that is, actively engage in politics.
Okay, and of course we have Philip.
Myself, I think it is obvious that he's opposing, but for records, I will be proposing the motion and debunking on why the church should involve itself in the political process.
All right, thank you very much. Maggie, I think because of you have been able to interact and to know whom we have here today in our conversation. Take us through.
Yes, so normally in any debate, we begin with the proposer side, and then we go to the rebut, which is from the opposer side. So what we'll be doing is that you'll be giving us your fresh points first, and then afterwards we'll be rebutting what the other person has said. Yes, so maybe we can start with Mr. Philip. Give us your take as to why the church should take part in the political process in the country.
Thank you so much for that. Before I even proceed with my proposition, we also need, first of all, to get our bearings right. We need to define what we are talking about today. And by definition, politics is much more than the democratic process that many people know. It involves how man's activities are organized in a state, and also the process by which decisions are made. People mobilize other people to form or make decisions and policies. And for the church, it comes from the Greek word ecclesia, which means assembly. Or rather, it's a group of the called, the people who have been called by God, Christians. And so, on why really should the church take part in the political engagements? If we are to look, first of all, historically, the church has been very active in the political process. Like we've mentioned, it's not just about the democratic process, even how man's activities are organized in a state or a police. So if we look at even maybe the documents of the church, most of the documents of the church, especially from the Holy See, address the social issues. Like recently, you could maybe refer to Laudato Si, a document by the Pope. Other documents highlight the need for people to work, highlight the need for people to live harmoniously as a community. And so when we look at this, it is really a good thing that the church is very active in ensuring that people live in a harmonious way, in a harmonious state, and they're able to work. Even when you come to Kenya, you look at the press statements by KCCB. Some of those statements really foster unity among people. Like a recent publication, not a recent, but last year in March, KCCB issued a press statement regarding the ongoing demonstrations. And it was at a time when the country was in a very political, unstable state. And they issued this document. And really, it really gave birth to the bipartisan talks that later on we were able to enjoy the unity that was brought about. So for me, I think the church really needs to take part in these processes, because it is through then that we are able to live in a very harmonious society. And then lastly, when we look at even maybe the church as a whole, in Kenya, at least let me talk of the Catholic Church, 31% of schools are run by the Catholic Church. 30% of the healthcare facilities are run by the Catholic Church. So the church is not just a guide by the side that the leaders, this is what you should do, these are the developments that you're supposed to do. The church is there at the heart of it to make sure that it also contributes in one way or another in ensuring that at least even the students are able to go to school, that when people fall sick, they're able to go to hospital. So for me, I think that is why, this is some of the reasons why I think the church should take part in the political engagements. Yeah.
Wow, awesome. That is well elaborated there, Maggie.
Quite articulate.
Yeah.
And on to the point. The bar has been set, has been raised so high. Mr. Bernstein, why should the church not engage itself in the political arena?
Okay, like Philip, my friend, said, though I wouldn't want to join him, he said he tried first to explain what politics really means. And I'll go by the first point that he said, politics, the democratic part of politics. I think that's why actually we are here. And the church really do not need to be at the center of politics, given that there's the democratic part of it. By this I mean, while in terms of elections or choosing whom to elect where and how, that's the involvement of, that's the involvement that the church shouldn't get in so much. But whatever he has explained on the other part, on the other aspect of politics, it's true, I will concur with him. But at least for the motion of the day, it actually meant that how can the church not actively participate in politics? So my points will be, the primary role of the church is actually to foster the spiritual growth and guidance to the community. That's the primary role of the church. So in my own point of view, I'd feel like if the church was to actively participate in the political arena, then some of these aspect of spiritual growth, community, and all those issues aren't well brought out, given that most of the time you'll find that these people are only centered towards the things that are brought about by elections. By this I mean small gifts or whatever, the tithes and all that, the money that is brought into the church, whereby now when it comes, there's a time you want to like give a homily or you want to like educate people on matters spiritual, there's this politician, there's this person who is at the center of the congregation, whereby he needs or she needs time so that they can address the people, the Christians in the church on how they should elect whom and when. You see, so I'll strongly stand to defend my point and say that I feel the church still shouldn't participate in politics as such.
Okay, and I have a question to you, Bernstein, because I feel the reason why most of the Christians don't participate actively in politics, because they have that fear, criticism. Do you feel that's how it's done and that's why Christians don't fully participate in that?
I wouldn't say it's that, though again, not that much, at least the smaller percentage, the aspect is brought out. But if we look at it in another angle, there's no way you'll be criticized for failing to support this other person, given that it shouldn't happen in the church. At your own space, of course, you need to be out there and at least following a certain party for that matter. So it doesn't need to be that when I publicly declare that I'm in support of this person, then I'm criticized, or no, not only the individuals but also the churches. Like we can mention the Catholic in support of this party or this side of politics, the other church is on the other side of politics. So you see, such wrangles wouldn't much criticize people.
Okay.
It's just your own opinion, your own space.
Okay. Before we move on, Philip, do you have something to add on whatever Bernstein has been talking about?
Thank you so much. When he introduced himself, I thought Bernstein was going to mop this floor with me. But I think I am very optimistic that that might not be the case. One, he mentioned that politicians come to church. The main reason why politicians come to church is because they want to be given a chance to talk. And he wants to center that maybe because of the electoral process that they come to get votes. And I want to remind him also that politicians, even after elections, they continue to come to church. They are there. And sometimes it's not just that they are going to talk. Some are just there because they want to grow their faith. You've mentioned that the main focus of the church, or the main purpose of the church, is to satisfy the spiritual needs of the people. And when the church involves itself in the political processes, I don't see a way in which the spiritual part of Christians or the spiritual need is not addressed, because then masses still go on. Weekday masses. If you go to the basilica, even afternoon at 1 midday, there is a mass. In the afternoon, there is a mass. So when the church is there to speak against, especially maybe the social evils, maybe to address some of the issues that Christians go through apart from the church, it is really a good thing, because even Christians feel that the church feels with them in times of sorrow. You remember when there was the issue of the high cost of living, the heavy taxation brought about the government. We saw KCCB was very active in talking about that the government should be very mindful and very sensitive that Christians, or rather Kenyans, are really going through a very tough time economically and financially. So when the church is speaking about these evils, or when the church is talking about these issues that are political, I feel it is really a good thing, because Christians then, when they find themselves that the church is feeling for them, they will even be encouraged to come to church. And that is to say, even when they come to church, their spiritual needs are going to be satisfied. He also mentioned that he also was a bit solid by pegging his opinions on the democratic aspect of politics. And I wish to remind him the definition that I gave, that politics, basically, it is how man's activities are organized in a state. So it is not solidly about the political, election process. It is more than that, the development, the policies that the government form. Recently, when during the episcopal ordination of the two bishops in the Diocese of Nairobi, we witnessed the chair of KCCB. He addressed the issue of the ongoing strike by the medics. So it is really something good when the church takes part in these discussions, because even as Christians, we feel encouraged that the church feels for us. The church is with us. And that is the whole soul of Christianity. That God is there even in your suffering. God is there even when you're going through that difficult moment. And I wish to encourage Bernstein to join me in this boat that we are sailing, and encouraging that politics and religion really should merge. They should fuse together, and we should have one movement. Thank you.
So actually, you mean that when the church leaders and of course the bishops and the priests talk about political issues that are happening in our country, so you feel it keeps the politicians on toes in matters concerning the well-being of our country members?
Thank you for that. Thank you for, I think Maureen is also on my side, so you are the only person on that side.
Maybe sometimes 50-50.
Okay. Thank you so much. Because then the church is there at the center. It is there to keep these people in check, to criticize some of the decisions that they are going to take, and also to encourage them that for the policies that you guys are going to make, may they be Kenyan-centered, kind of people-centered. The decisions, that they are not going to oppress the people. So I think it is a really good thing when the church isn't there to question some of these things. It is there to question the decisions that the government is taking, and even maybe the legislation process. You see, even during the bipartisan talk, I was very happy to see that even there was the space for religious leaders in that conversation, so that they will be there at the heart of it, and promote those policies that are going to favor the common mwananchi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Maggie, it's getting hot
here.
It's
getting hot in here, and I would just love to pose a question to Mr. Philip. Now that we have gotten that out of the way, I would just love to ask, how do we handle politicians who come to church and out of respect, they're given the pulpit, they're told to take the stand and say hi to the members, but then they bring politics inside a mass or inside a service. Yeah. So how do we handle that?
Truly, sometimes politicians can be a very difficult lot to deal with, and especially when they are given the pulpit. Sometimes we might not know the extent to which they can go. So you can find maybe a priest gives them just out of honor, and because he is a leader for that particular jurisdiction, he gives them a platform to address Christians. But there is a guideline on what he's supposed to say, and he is even briefed beforehand that this is what you're going to say. We might not have achieved that, because then, people sometimes go overboard because out of their own selfish interests. But for me, I really feel it's a good thing when they are given a chance to talk, because then they are able to, first of all, we are encouraging them to come to church. When this person is given a chance to address the people and he is told what to say, some of them really abide. And when he feels that the church recognizes his potential, recognizes his position as a leader, he is even encouraged to join, to come to church the other time. How would you feel if you are, how it would be very awkward for a politician to come, be denied a chance to talk, because it is like you're sending them away. And for me, when people view politicians as sinners, it is like seeing the speck in their eye, but not seeing the log in your own eye. So sometimes you might think what they are doing is bad, but perhaps you are the most evil person compared to them. So for me, giving them a chance, one, it is like inviting them, first of all, to come to church. And the best way that the church tries, it is very difficult, like I've said, because we are humans, and some of them, they might want to advance their political interests. But the fact that the church has a guideline on what he's going to say is really a good thing. And the priest who is responsible for that particular parish, he should be very rigid and solid with his, with him even giving them a chance that you're going to come, you're going to talk, but please don't talk about this. Please don't cross this line, because we have Christians from different political parties. Yeah. And you cannot, it's good for a Christian to involve himself even in the political process, because the decisions that are going to be made by politicians, they are going to affect you in one way or another. So distancing yourself from politics is really not a good thing. And there's also a very common phrase that the church is the conscience of the state. So the fact that the church is there to, as the conscience of the state, it means that Christians then, as they are being enlightened on who is a good shepherd, they're able to see for themselves the kind of leaders they should elect. So taking part in the electoral process is also a good thing, because it ensures that the leaders who are being placed in the positions of power, they are really rational people.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe before you ask the next question, I would like to maybe say something. Philip mentioned about us viewing, I'm sure he meant so I view, like, for instance, there are some of us who view politicians as sinners. Yes. That's not actually the case. Whatever I meant is, there's this forum where a politician will pop up in a church, of course they have to be given that space. You've again mentioned that amongst the congregations, we have people of different affiliations. We have those who support politics, we have those who are not interested in politics, we have people who support different parties at the same time. So given that you'll find whoever is leading the congregation, that's the church leader of that place, is partly or takes part only on one side. And you find that majorly this person will invite, sometimes they're invited, these politicians are invited, just people from the same party, all through. So you find that these congregants or the Christians are forced to only lie on one side, which is manipulating them in a way.
No one is forced to lie on one side. It is a decision that one chooses. So even if the politician is there to talk, he's not telling you that if you don't vote for me, you're going to die. No, that's not the case. He's there to greet the people. And sometimes even they don't talk about politics. If you are keen during the episcopal ordination of the auxiliary bishops, they didn't talk about anything political. They were there to appreciate and to congratulate the two bishops. So if maybe that is the direction you're going to take, perhaps you could give us a scenario-based example of when it happened, and perhaps you should let us know, because myself, I've never seen it.
I wouldn't think it's right for I to mention names or occasions where this happened, because maybe just for the sake of the anonymous hidings and or whatever. But again, my point still stands that there are some of them, though not all, but majorly, most of them do it. And however much we try to hide from this thing, other than the key role of the church in the society, they are supposed to be neutral. Their neutrality is undermined when they have to side with one team. However much they bring in many people, there's only that one team. And again, tracing back from the last elections that we had, the individuals, again, we've said for the anonymous of it, will not mention names, but we saw some people going to churches and giving, maybe, what do we call it?
Sentiments, money?
Giving sentiments and cash and whatever, but after that, they've not gone to that church ever since. They now went to their home church where they used to fellowship. You cannot, as well, again, you cannot limit politicians and tell them this is the church you're going to go. There's the church that this person feels like, I'll attend this church at a particular time when I feel like. But there's that one place this person knows, if I go there, I'll have to fish as many people as possible. We are human beings and we are being manipulated each and every time. If you give me like small things or whatever, I'll feel like this the person and this the way to go. At the end of the day, your own conscience is not right. You even know that I'm not supposed to do this, but again, you're doing it out of the small gift being given.
Okay.
Perhaps.
All right. Thank you very much, Bernstein, for that engagement, of course, and to you, Philip. I'm sure even our viewers are learning a lot. And I think, Maggie, before you talk, because I can see you are ready to say something, we're going to take a very short break, but when we come back, we shall continue with our conversation. And the question is, should religious institutions actively participate in politics or maintain separation to focus solely on spiritual matters? And we would love to hear your thoughts with us, so you can share on 0717 424 866, or you can use our SMS number, that is 21760. We're taking a very short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
En muchas partes del mundo, la mujer es tratada como primer material de descarte. Hay países donde las mujeres tienen prohibido acceder a ayudas para armar un negocio o ir a la escuela. Incluso en esos lugares soportan leyes que las obligan a vestir de una determinada manera, y todavía están en uso en muchos países las mutilaciones genitales. No les neguemos a las mujeres la voz. No les neguemos a todas estas mujeres víctimas de abuso la voz. Son explotadas, son marginadas. De palabra todos estamos de acuerdo que en el hombre y la mujer tienen la misma dignidad como personas, pero en la práctica eso no ocurre. Es necesario que los gobiernos se comprometan a eliminar leyes discriminatorias en todas partes y a trabajar para que los derechos humanos de las mujeres estén garantizados. Respetemos a las mujeres, respetémoslas en su dignidad, en sus derechos fundamentales. Y si no lo hacemos, nuestra sociedad no avanzará. Oremos para que la dignidad y la riqueza de las mujeres sean reconocidas en todas las culturas y para que cese la discriminación que sufren en diversas partes del mundo.
Our Lord Jesus Christ became one of us to save us and to show us how to.
Amri za Mungu. Ndimi Bwana Mungu wako. Usiabudu miungu wengine. Usilitaje bure jina la Mungu wako. Shika kitakatifu siku ya Mungu. Waheshimu baba na mama upate miaka mingi na heri duniani. Usiue. Usizini. Usiibe. Usiseme uongo. Usitamani mwanamke asiye mke wako. Usitamani mali ya mtu mwingine. Amri za Mungu.
Kupata
amri za Mungu.
Kama sikiza tune yako, bonyeza neno sikiza likifuatwa na nambari 738-10251.
Hello dear viewer, welcome back to our second part of Form New Faith right here on Capuchin TV with me Maureen Kimani and my co-host Maggie Minor, and of course we're being joined by our panelist here today with us. That is on my right we have Philip, and on my far left we have Bernstein. Welcome back you all as we resume on our dialogue. Let's build upon the ideas shared in the first half of our discussion. And please, I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you feel like the church should actively participate on politics, or they should do away with the politics and focus on the matter concerning spirituality? Please let us know about that. So welcome back you all.
Thank you, Maureen.
Yes, Maggie, please take us over on our second part.
Sure, and as we were finalizing on the first part, Mr. Bernstein here was making some very, the youths out there will say he was pitting vibes, It was, yes, some real vibes. Okay. But then that builds upon a question that I have been, having since you started delivering your points. So given that we have established that there is a conflict of interest once the politicians take the pulpit, and the neutrality of the agenda has been compromised, would you say that we should just do away with politicians taking the pulpits in church once and for all, regardless of who they are, regardless of their position, regardless of their agenda, regardless of how innocent, they tend to portray themselves? And so what would you say?
So I'll not say that politicians shouldn't be given a chance maybe to address the congregants in the church. But what I'll say on the same is, at least let these people be prepared in advance. Let it be known that while in church, we are on matters spirituality. So that at any given point, you are there to address the congregants. You can address these other issues concerning them at that given point. Of course, they say there's time for everything. At the same time, there's time at each and every given place has its own things that are being done. So it's just that these politicians should be like briefed before and be told we are here because of spiritual matters. So of course you cannot limit what they'll say, but at least just highlight on the point that anything that you say or whatever you want to address the people, kindly make it as spiritual as possible.
All right.
You see, because we are in the church, and these other things or the other aspects of politics, economics and all, economics can be highlighted, like a politician can come and say, in the near future I'm thinking of establishing a school around here, which is actual, but not the propaganda that has been going on for so long.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have actual facts, something we are seeing that you can do, it's okay, but we shouldn't bar them from maybe addressing congregants in the church.
All right. So with you taking that standing point, would you say that you're actually agreeing with what Mr. Philip said earlier on?
I think he is.
Actually, there are two things here. There's the actively involvement in politics, and there is you are taking part in politics. You see, so you are not actively engaging in politics.
Yes.
You're only there to give guidance, see how things will come out. So you're only giving your opinion on what you need to be done or what should be done.
Okay.
Yes, you are not actively like influencing the whole thing.
Okay. Philip, I'm seeing you're very happy with what Banster is saying, but before you actually just reply to what he has said, how would you say the church plays a role in advocating for social justice through politics?
Thank you so much. I said at the beginning, the church has been at the forefront of advocating for the social justice. If you look at in the Diocese of Nairobi, and I think in even other dioceses, there is CJPC, and part of the things that they do is they really advocate for social issues. They promote social justice in the community, to the fact that they even have a kitty that supports needy children who want to go to school. And for real, that is something very good, because at least we are able to see that the church is coming in to support needy children, needy students. And I think he might have friends who are beneficiaries of this program. That is why I'm even happy that he's taking he's taking that leap of faith of joining us. The other thing that the church does, like I've mentioned, KCCB is there. It's there at the forefront to address issues. Last year, during around November, there was also a press statement that KCCB issued regarding the high cost of living. There was, like I've mentioned previously, they were there to talk to the government, to let the government know what people are really going through, and to encourage policies that favor the common mwananchi. And right now, at least we can say, compared to that time, right now the economy is doing well. Coming from an economic background, I think for me that is a really good thing. The other thing that the church does, you can even see from the documents, like from the Holy See that they are pointed out, Laudato Si, Fratelli Tutti, all those documents that the Pope releases, most of them are centered towards promoting, social justice. At that time, during the demonstrations, in part of the document highlighted that the bishops were telling the Kenyans that we are very blessed that the country is experiencing rains. And they were encouraging the Kenyans to go back to their farms, to till their land, and to plant, so that they can have bountiful harvest instead of going for demonstrations. So we see that the church is, like I've mentioned, is at the center of it. It is at the heart of it, of promoting social justice. And it is really important because if you look at even John the Baptist, he was there. And we see some of the bishops that are brought to Citizen TV, just to mention, they are there to, like Bishop Moheria, just allow me to mention his name. He's there to talk about these things. When there was the issue of Shakahola, they are there to talk about these things, and it's very encouraging because it is there that the Christians are going through these things, and the church should not distance itself and say we are just here to give you what is spiritual, but the church will be there also to feel with the citizens of what they are going through.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Having listened to Philip, I will not argue a point on the economic part of it because he's a guru in the field, but I'll take part in what he, the whole statement that he has said, and maybe highlight that the church can do this outside the conjunction with the state, that is the political arena. So all these things he has mentioned, they are true, but they can be implemented by the church itself, having not engaged much into the political arena. So I feel it's a good thing that he has at least given points I had not mentioned earlier. So the church is at the center of it at the same time, but there is that like a thin line where we are doing this not only as a church, but we'll be able to again feel what our people are feeling, the social aspect of it, minus including the political side.
Okay.
Shall I remind you that unity, umoja ni nguvu na utengano ni udhaifu. Really, when the church merges effort with the government, it is really, or rather with the politicians, it's really a good thing because we're able to achieve much rather than segregating what you're doing, because we're doing the same thing. If the government wants to build a school and the church wants to build a school, for me, I feel it's a very good thing that they merge efforts so that they can save on costs, and at the same time they can be able to do much. They can be able to do much. You recognize that there are many Catholic schools that have partnered with the government. Mention many of them that have partnered with the government, and it's really a good thing because you find that in the school there is the chaplaincy. That at the same time as we are building a school, we're able to satisfy the spiritual needs of the students. So for me, I think when you say the church should segregate itself from the development policies and everything, for me, I think I tend to disagree with that.
Okay.
Maureen, this is a very spirited debate.
Yeah.
And Philip, Bernstein is not done. He still wants to.
I had just something to add on what he has said. I didn't actually mean that we are segregating ourselves from the state. What actually, there's something I don't know whether we are not getting, or there's this thing, politics and the church. So there's the active involvement in politics. That's what I'm actually against. But if we are there to soldier on as maybe we come together and do something that is productive, that's a go ahead. As well, you'll find if the church is to actively participate in politics, there are some of the policies that are made which will again contradict the Christian teachings. For example, say we have the borderline policies that are all over. Of course, there's we have Kenya and Uganda, so there's a border between Kenya and Uganda, whereby there are policies before you come to Kenya or do whatever. There's some things you're supposed to have maybe met requirements. So you find that, and in the teaching, the same Christians or the same church leaders will tell you on how you're supposed to welcome your strangers. So it's one and the same thing. At the same time, you have to be careful on what we are teaching from the church and what the political arena is putting, the policies the political arena is putting in place. So that's where we are at.
Okay, I mean, it's getting really hot here, and we should have some drinks because but before we continue, we have some few comments and feedback from the people watching us. We have Fifi Emush following. We have Wycliffe Gashuki, tuned from St. Joseph Mary Queen of Apostle Parish, Dagoretti. And we have Teresia Njeri, tuned from the Nativity of Our Lord Kagwe Parish. Thank you, Teresia. We have Mikal Sukuz, Nakuru, tuned, watching live from Bungoma County. The show is amazing. Thank you so much for your feedback. And as we continue, Philip, I had a question to you, because I've been following keenly on the events, even Capuchin TV go to cover, especially the bigger ones like Episcopal ordination. We have the family days. And during such a event, you find so many political leaders who are actively in maybe CMA members, CWA members, and you find them marching on with the other members of the various groups. Do you feel having the CMA and the CWA members as political leaders in the group makes or creates a role model to the young people? Do you feel?
Thank you so much, Maureen, for that. And it's good you've highlighted that. Because what Bernstein is telling us, that now the politicians who are part of these groups, they should be sent away. They should not be given a chance. But I wish to remind him that they are all Christians, and the Christianity is universal. The Catholic Church is universal. It is open for everyone, for everyone, for everyone. In fact, the nuncio highlighted that in his conversations with the Pope. The Pope told him that the church is for everyone, for everyone, for everyone. And so when we have these politicians as part of the CMA group, it's really a good thing, because as you mentioned, they form like a role model for the youth to look at. Even as some of them who may have political ambitions, they can look at them and learn a thing or two from them. And them being part and parcel of the faith communities in the church, it also speaks volumes about their integrity as a people, because they receive the spiritual nourishment. They are active in church. They are there even when they attend masses. They take part actively. So even when they go back to the legislation processes and they go back now to their job, they are able to reflect some of these values that they learn in church. And I think I agree with you that it's a good thing that those politicians who are coming to church to talk, they should also be encouraged to join these groups. They should not just be coming and talking. They should be encouraged to be part and even join the choir. Can you imagine having an MCA or an MP or a governor sing in the choir? It's really an encouraging thing. And for me, that is the church that I am overseeing, and that is the church that I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
Awesome, amazing. Talking about becoming a member before Bernstein says something. We have one person who is watching us, and he says, "Hi Capuchin TV, I'm Alphonse watching from Gara. How can I become a member?" Is it a member of the debate or the panelist? But I think we're going to reach out to you so that we can know how you want to become a member. Yeah. And of course, you can come here and share with us your thoughts and how you feel about this conversation. Sure. Yes.
Very true. Karibu sana Alphonse. And Mr. Bernstein, now following the flow of the conversation, would you say that the active participation of church in politics actually compromises the freedom, the independence of religion in the church? Does it compromise its stand as a religious institution in the country, as opposed to how it was before the political got involved into it, the political side, that is?
I'll say yes. Simply because the active involvement of the church into politics has compromised a lot. Yes. The freedom in it, as compared to the olden days, is not at par as we see it now.
Yes.
Reason being, initially you would find that actually the church was the most feared place. Like if that's the articulate word to use, the most feared place, not a sacred place for that matter. So some of the activities happening in the church right now were never allowed to happen at that time. Coming to the freedom part of it, again I'll trace back I'll trace back to the point that if we have not only politicians, we have the ruling class in the church, and the church leaders are on the same line with them, not for bad or good deeds, but there's this stand that the church will give its congregants, that this is the way we are supposed to follow. And my friend, I think he's already planning on how to maybe battle it out. He said it's the personal decision to choose which side to go to. But I feel there's this influence that comes with the people who are in power. Power is, there's just an influence that comes with power, that when I say it's this direction we are following, you'll find each and every person follows the same. And on the freedom, there are some of, if a certain religion brings out the leader, the other is undermined. But if we are all to be put under one class, it's more of easier that if this person is from the other religion, we do not care which religion this person comes from, as long as he is a good leader. But if we centralize these matters into actively participating in the church, participating into politics, the freedom of some religions are undermined. And that one, I'll give it a yes.
And what would you say are some of the problems that arise from the church exerting pressure on the political arena?
So while the church exerts pressure on the political arena, we have discrimination at large. She talked about criticism, but it's not the same as this. So we have the discrimination at large. We have the moral complexity that comes with it, whereby whatever I need to do, I cannot freely express myself because there's limitations to what I should do and what I should say. You see? So those two are, I guess, what I can recall as at now.
All right. I think because our time is almost up, I think we're going to give each time to wrap up and give their parting shot. Yeah, exactly. On the overall of our conversation today, starting with you, Philip.
Thank you so much, Maureen. I've really learned a lot from this conversation. And as I part short, I just love to encourage my friend. I'll not tire. And the good thing is that he's a friend of mine. So
keep preaching.
We will further this conversation, and it doesn't end here because these are things that are keep revolving each and every day. So myself, I am looking forward for a church that will be open to politicians, that a church that will be open to work with the politicians, to work with the government in sanctifying some of these decisions that the politicians make for the state. As I wrap up, I don't know if you'll allow me to big up two people.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay, thank you so much. There are two people who have really been on my neck. That if I don't big up them, they will not feel good. So there's one, Yona from the Basilica. It's good to need to be your friend. There's also Ben. Ben said hi, and he really likes this show. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. And actually, Philip, when you mentioned about having these political leaders and church leaders coming together, reminds me on yesterday we had Capuchin TV, we were covering the association AOSK, the Association of Sisterhoods here in Kenya. They were having a meeting with the PS that is in Nairobi, where they wanted to discuss the issues that are happening in our country. The femicide, we have the FGM, we have the GBV, all of that. And it's working together. And with that, we're bringing and making sure that our society is one and working together in this journey. Of course, Bernstein, what do you have to say as we wrap up our conversation?
Thank you. Maybe I'll just mention that in support of the inactiveness of the church with the political part, I'll say the solemn duty of the church, given its mandate to oversee the spiritual matters of the congregants or Christians for that matter, I'll say they should take up the mantle and at least be able to unify and maintain law and order in the church, so that at least from the church we have leaders who are elaborate on matters spiritual, so that at least for the political class in the next debate we'll be having, Lord speaking about church involving in politics, will be at least centering on conversation on how should we now converge these teams, so that we at least know we do not have a we do not have a class for the politics, and we do not have a class for the church. I do not again merge to that other side, though if he would want to take it that way, so be it. I've been here severally, so I've bigged up all the people who wish to big up.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Maggie, what do you have to say as we wind up?
Yeah, for sure, Marina. We just love to thank the two panelists for their very articulate and well elaborated points during the debate. Clearly, we have all learned something from each of you. So, asanteni sana. And of course, to heeding to our call. And whenever we call you upon, you always show up. So, asanteni sana, sana, sana. And you're welcome again and again to Capuchin TV. To our dear viewers, please keep it Capuchin TV, Family Faith, where we have conversations by the youth and for the youth. Sante.
All right, and that brings us to the end of our conversation today. As Maggie said, keep it firmly faith right here on Capuchin TV every Wednesday from 2 p.m. And thank you so much for your feedback and for your engaging moments with us. We always love and enjoy having you around. May God bless you. Wishing you a blessed afternoon. See you next time. My name is Maureen Kimani and my co-host,
Maggie Maina.
Bye-bye.
Yo, what's up, my guys? Yeah, Jenny was say the wait is finally over.
Yeah, and Capuchin TV brings you exciting news for the youth this year 2024 with a youth program called
Form Ni Faith. In this particular program, we will be bringing you Bible trivias.
We have discussions. We have talent show for those ones who love to showcase their talents, like singing.
I do what I can while I care for my people.
Modeling,
oral narratives, spoken words.
Hey, stop walking while I'm talking. Nataka kuji-express, at least nitoe stress. Even if I can smile, it's only for a while. Yesu anakudai, that's why he accepted to die on the cross, to remove your dilemma and to give you a new direction.
Catch us on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only at Capuchin TV.
You can also get the repeat shows every Wednesday from 7 p.m. again only on Capuchin TV. And remember,
if you would love us to come and cover your event, you can contact us on 0717-424-866. Form New Faith with your favorite host, Maureen Kimani.
And I, Maggie Maina.
Come all to enjoy in Christ.
Yesu